to have a better picture.
Ratan, this is Nagesh. Sorry for the interruption.
Yes.
Ratan, I would appreciate if you can give me a brief introduction about yourself.
Yeah, I'll be doing it. That's what I was just talking about that. So what I'll be doing is I'll be walking you through what is the basic requirement of DevOps and why is that companies are implementing it from a way that you can understand it better. And then I'll walk you through what are the tasks that you'll be doing in DevOps, and then we will see what are the tools in the market that they use to work on. Okay, so pretty much if you have any doubt or questions in between, stop by and ask, or if not, once I complete some 10-15 minutes of basic introduction, then we can have a discussion. So to introduce myself, my name is Adam, and Ratan is not my name, it's my brother's number that I'm using. So basically I'm a DevOps engineer and a release engineer, and I've been into the domain for close to 12 years. So that's something short about me. So do you have anything specific on mind, like what is that you want to cover, or what is that we want to discuss, so that I can walk through it based on your requirement?
Yeah. Actually, sorry, I did not get your name. Unfortunately, your voice is not pretty clear. I mean, I'm having issue. I'm not sure about this. Praveen and Vishnu, are you guys okay?
Yeah.
Okay, let me be a little loud so that. Am I audible now?
Yes, I can hear you. Thanks.
Okay.
The problem is actually, Adam, your voice looks like probably internet bandwidth is not. Internet is not good. Probably it's not consistent.
No, actually, I had a rough night, so my voice is also a little bit of crack. So bear with me. Anyway, I'll be a little loud.
Okay. No problem. Okay.
By the way, my name is Adam, A-D-A-M. And the name what you see here, Ratan, is actually my brother's name because I'm using his number for the conference. That's the reason. And that's about me. So what I was asking you is that I'll be walking you in the steps what I said, but if there is any specific area or the focus has to be done on some specific topic, then if you can let me know, then I will walk through that based on what is needed for you guys.
Actually, Adam, I have a clarification. Actually, are you going to cover Puppet? So basically, we wanted to focus on more on a Puppet rather than a chef.
Okay.
So that's what we are looking for. So just want to make sure so you're okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely, because there's no problem. So I get the point. Any other topics that you want to discuss more about?
So I think in case you're aware of it, so Docker, if you can give some introduction about Docker, that'll be good. Praveen and Vishnu, you want to add on anything else?
Yeah, so Adam, this is Praveen here. So just, before saying the topics, like what the topics that you will cover, so that we can give an addendum for that one. So how does that sound, Adam?
Sure. See, that's what I had in my mind is I'll walk you through the fundamentals of DevOps so that you will understand what kind of task you do, because DevOps is not something wherein you will be doing one work. It's something more related to automation. So every company will have different kind of problem statements, and to address that, you have to use different tools. So which tools that you have to use, it's completely up to the individual or the company, but there is no force or there is no specific hardened rule saying that this is the best tool. But it's up to the individual and the client on which they prefer to use, because there will be some reasons behind it technically, but other than that, there's nothing like what we are going to do. So that is what I thought of covering it today, so that if I go through and tell you what are the problems and how it can be addressed, in that specifically as a course I can define you, or maybe I can begin with what is that we do as a course, and maybe you want to have more discussion on that so that it will be clear with you. So currently, if you see, as I said, DevOps is not just one task that you're going to do. The main reason why DevOps was introduced to keep three things in mind, that is to improve the performance and the efficiency of whatever tasks and process each engineers are doing. When I say each engineers, that can be from the development side or from the system administration side. So in that way, the focus is on about all the activities which majorly these two groups, that is the development groups and the system administrators, would be working. So corresponding to that, so whatever problems that the developer has to be fixed by providing some kind of automation and a process improvement. And in the same side, for system administrator, if you see what are the major problems that will be facing, addressing that, there will be some tools and tasks that you have to do. So in that perspective, for release engineering or release management with respect to the development and QA, so we do have to improve and implement for software development. So that is what the modern software development method people are using. So in that, one of the latest concept that's been introduced is called as continuous integration. So why do we need continuous integration is something, as I said, it helps the development to do the work in a better way and to accelerate the release process. So in that case, in a course, we will be focusing on not just a tool, but the complete aspect of what is continuous integration and how you can do. And in that way, currently in the market, Jenkins is one of the tools which is widely used for continuous integration. And not only that, this tool acts as a one-stop solution through which you can connect to all the other tools, whatever that you're using in the company, and you can define your process. That is why it's quite popular. When you take, there are several other tools like Cruise Control or Bamboo, but why is it not popular is one of the reasons is that it is not just to be focused only on continuous integration. You have to think about many things. Like what you said, you want to work on Puppet, you want to work on Docker. Okay, now how is that you will be working? Still you have to connect to some machine, and for everything you have to go and log into different server, then that will be a tedious process. So that is when going with a tool like Jenkins, it is majorly going to focus on the release management by doing continuous integration. Additionally, it will be focusing from acting as a framework and giving you a one-stop place through which you can connect and define all the process. So that is what we'll be doing and learning it completely. And on the other side, since DevOps, as I said, is automation, there are tools using which you'll be solving some particular area. But many times, it will not be a straightforward way wherein using the tool that you can solve the problem. So it's the ratio like 70 to 80%. So in that case, now you have to do little more automation by using some kind of program. But since we are not going to be in the level of programmers and we are not interested in writing a program or getting a product created, what we are trying to do is you have a problem, how can you solve it? Which rather than repeating it every time manually, you can try using some scripts that we can do it. So that is when automation or scripting comes into the picture. Okay, so in that you will be responsible in writing some kind of scripting which might be like Perl or Python or Ruby. Now, which one to use? It's again up to the company, because generally if you see, these are the two scripting languages which anyone would be using for automation. And which one you would prefer, it's completely up to the domain and whoever is managing. Now, if you take someone who is completely from a programming background where he understands object-oriented programming like C++ or Java, then for them, Python would be feeling very, very easy and they feel comfortable because it works in the same concept. But on the other side, if you take someone who doesn't even know anything about program, but he's more into the operation task and you want to automate, then Perl will be easy, because this has both the features of scripting as well as if you want to take it to the advanced level, similar to Python, you can do object-oriented. So that is how the difference. Python is more used for creating applications, from the program side, and Perl is used for automating your normal operation tasks. So which one is preferred? They would ask at least, do you know automation, and any one which we are comfortable with, because one, if you know one, the other one would be easy to take it over. And in that case, since you will be involving in writing many small scripts for different tasks, you have to store and maintain. So it will be equivalent to the work of a developer, wherein you have to store this code, share it with someone, and along with that, even the developers will be storing their Java code or .NET code in some place. Now, to maintain all those things, you need a separate process called SCM, for which we have a tool called Git, which will be helping us. Okay, so that is when SCM being one of the common tasks for which everyone has to work. And since even we'll be in continuous integration, and along with that, being a DevOps engineer, we have to write some automation scripts. So usage of Git and Jenkins will be the base for any kind of DevOps engineer. So other than that, you would need a different tool, but these three things would be the default stuff. Now, additionally, if you take, as I said, there will be different kind of problems. So one of the major problems where companies are trying to, do an improvement which will help them to reduce the cost in purchasing the physical servers or maintaining the servers is the important thing. Because when you say, particularly in US, all small companies or startup companies are coming in, wherein they need the resources, which would be the softwares or the physical machines, and they just need it only for some time. Say you want to work on a project and you need for 30 hours, then are you interested to procure the complete system, which is going to be like $1,000 or whatever it is, and use it completely? But whatever your need would be only for 30 hours. So in that case, you can make use of something called cloud computing, through which you can have the particular requirement met only for the hours on which you will be using. So in that case, cloud computing is what the important thing as part of DevOps, wherein every companies are focusing to reduce the cost and the effort that each system engineer or an operation engineer is going to put. So in that case, we will be going through AWS. And again, in AWS, there are so many modules which a developer would be using or some other QA can use. So our focus is majorly from reducing the cost that is going to be used rather than putting in a physical server. So in that case, we have one major module called EC2. So that is one using which you can actually bring up machines, as I said, based on your need with specifications and software inside it. And you can implement the same thing for working on all the other tools, specifically what task that you'll be doing for a user. Okay, and additionally, along with this, then the next work, what you'll be having is something called as configuration management. So what do you mean by configuration management is, just to give an overview. So now you're getting a machine. So that can be either a physical machine, or you will have something called as virtual machines like VMware or VirtualBox, wherein you can spin or create one many servers physically in the same machine. Instead of that, companies are actually going towards AWS's cloud computing. Now, you are solving only the problem rather than buying a physical machine or rather than creating a virtual machine. You are using a machine which someone is providing you as a service. But ultimately, what is required is, if you have to go inside this machine and work, you need all the things, whatever software or tools that you want should be present in it as you require. Or to simply put it, the machines has to be in a state as exactly what you need. Now, you as one user will say that, for example, I need Java 1.6. Now, whenever you log into that X machine, you should have Java 1.6 for you. And now, if another colleague of you is doing a different task, when he wants to log in, he should be able to work on Java 1.7. So like this, the environment and the settings might vary from user to user. And now, again, a system administrator has to take responsibility in maintaining the state or all this environment. So that is when, to reduce the effort of all these things, what we do is they came up with configuration management as a concept, and they would be working on one tool. So in this, if you take, we have so many tools like Jeff, Puppet, or Ansible. All these things serve the same purpose. Wherein, now, which one would company prefer? It is based on the requirement. So like I said, you can go with Jeff or Puppet. Majorly, Ansible is something which has been, just recently introduced, and it's not quite stable when compared to this, because when you go from a bigger infrastructure, this will not be able to support. So Puppet or Jeff, these are the only two things which are widely used, and it supports so many use cases. Now, how would people or choose this is, now if a user is completely from an administration background, okay, then they would be preferring Puppet, because it is very robust. At the same time, it can handle many things at the given point of time from the administration perspective. But it is quite too much to understand. It's not just something simple you can get started. So on the other way, if you're not too good in administration, or you don't know, but still you want to get the things done, then you can get used with Jeff, wherein it's quite simple and you can achieve all those things, whatever that you can do. But there are so many small things which you have to do. So that is how the difference that we go. So now, since if you say you want to go with Puppet, then definitely we can do Puppet. So these are the primary things. As a DevOps engineer, based on the current market, they will be giving you the roles and responsibilities. So if you know all these things, at least you would be covering 80 to 85% of whatever requirement in a given role or responsibilities will be. Wherein it is not 100% confirmed that you will not be giving anything additionally, but it depends on what problem they have, and for that they might be using some other tool. So now if you see in that case, so there are some requirement for containership or replicating the environment. So now if the company is more towards deployment, and I say what do you mean by deployment is that, so developer would be doing on some work, okay, for that he will be having his machine, and his machine will have some environment. When I say environment, some tools and whatever supporting that. Now when you take from the QA perspective, even he should be having the same thing as the developer is working. And further, if you take the person, whoever is responsible for doing the build and release activities, also should be having the same environment. Now, how is that you're going to have the same environment all the places? Or the other example is like, now when you want to do a deployment and you want to do a performance test, all those things, you want to replicate the same thing for many different places. So in that case, you cannot have so many machines and so many setups and doing all those things. Even though you work with AWS and configuration management, unnecessarily you are just replicating the same thing. So how is that you can prevent that? That is when there is some concept called container ship. Okay, so using this, we will be achieving those kind of, or solving those kind of problems. So for that, we have tools like Docker specifically, which will help in achieving those tasks is what we'll be doing. Okay, and further, if you see what other tasks people might do, there is one more task. Being a DevOps engineer on the major side, you might have to do the database storage. Okay, so database storage in the sense, generally for the management, no matter what kind of work you do, they will be asking from statistics. So they want to put in the details on what is that going to come, what is the effort needed from the resources and all those stuff. So for that, they have to get some metrics or statistics through which they can decide, okay, this many people are working on this task and this much of amount time is taking. And now if we have some new thing to do, how much of estimation time and resource it would take. So they can calculate it only through it. So for that, generally they will be taking the logs from each tool, what you're doing, and so many data they will have to collect. Now, typically all these things will be stored in something called as database. So going with the traditional database like Oracle or MySQL is not no more a good way. Why? Because it is stable, but it's kind of robust and you have to do so many tasks to maintain it. And that is when people are going for a fancier way, wherein it should be easy to store and easy to get it. Because it's not just thinking about storing, but you should also be thinking about retrieving and putting it into some kind of dashboard, right? So in that case, we have tools like Elasticsearch. and it's not too, it's just one word, Elasticsearch, and we have something called Logstash, Kibana. There's so many tools. So these are the major activities that you will be doing in DevOps. Okay, so the focus will be, as I said, we will be trying to go through this so that at any given point of time we can cover 80 to 85% of the given roles and responsibilities. But it's not confined only to this. As I said, we can